everybody and welcome to the channel again. I'm somewhere else this time. You'd be surprised to see me in another garden, and I've been commissioned to help sort this garden out, and the brief is to make it into a tropical paradise. So as you can see now, it's not very much of a paradise, but by the end of the summer I'm aiming, with periodical visits here, to make it into something really spectacular, and so I'm really looking forward to getting started. The first job is to paint the fences, because we've got an orangey fence, so we're going to paint it a lovely bright blue, and that will help things stand out. And also the next other job is to sort the lawn out, and I'm going to overlay a plan onto the video where you'll see the kind of idea I was having for this, where this lawn becomes rectangular and we have a rectangle at that end as well, and then maybe in the future that will change to become like a water feature or something else. So it's going to evolve as we do it. I think you'd be really excited to see some ideas, and of course it's a smaller garden, you'll probably get some ideas for yours too. So let's get started. I'm going to do the painting first, so you can watch me making an almighty mess. The colour is really bright and vibrant, and this is exactly what I wanted for this garden. So what I'm going to do is continue next time and do the next panel, and it will take at least 2 coats to achieve the desired colour, but already I'm really pleased. And here are a few photographs of the garden before I turned up. You can see in this first picture looking a bit tired, and this picture here we've got the lovely tree in the corner which is still there. The rest of the garden has kind of evolved over time, and some of the elements have got a bit tired, and so it's a good time now to start changing things and making it different. And you can see the basic shape of the garden from upstairs. It's like a triangle shape. The hot tub in the bottom there, that's going very soon. That's going to be cleaned up and sold, hopefully. And the rest of the garden, well, it's just a blank canvas. So my visit this time is to turn part of the garden into something that looks something more structural. And here's my little plan here. It's basically to make a couple of rectangles, maybe with some trellis at the back, and to colour some of the fence. It's debatable if we're painting the fence blue at the side or black, but I personally think we're going to do it black. The most important thing to do when you're starting a new garden or marking out a lawn or any area is to make sure you measure it properly, and measure it twice, because you don't want to make any mistakes. Because if you can't really cut into the lawn twice, you want to make sure it's perfectly as you want it to be, and check your angles from around the other places when you're looking to make sure it's all in the right order and it's not going to annoy you later on, because it very easily can do. Now I've measured it all out, I've cut along the edges of the wood with a sharp spade, and I'm just lifting the turfs away from the edge so I can make a nice clean line. And I'm stacking these turfs in the far corner, which they can rot down and be made into lovely topsoil in a few weeks' time. This area here is going to be dug up, and I'm going to use these turfs in the area where the soil has been eroded away and there isn't any grass growing. So I'm just lifting these up carefully. I've cut them out with the spade. Make sure you've got a very sharp spade, and you can slice underneath, get a nice even slice of turf, and then you can just transfer that to where you want it to go, and it'll go in very easily. Well, what I'm doing here, I'm just leveling off the earth. This is where the grass used to be, but it died off, and so I'm using the turfs I've dug up, and I'm going to put them on the top here, and it's going to make a new area of lawn. It's quite an involved job, and it took quite a while to finish this area, but when you do it properly, it's well worth it. So make sure you've got a good edge there, and make sure you've got it nice and level, slightly lower than the existing turf so it joins on, and then you can make it all match up. It's a bit like making a mosaic, really. Well, now it's all levelled as best as I can. It doesn't have to be perfectly level because the turfs are all slightly different thicknesses. And what you're doing here is just getting the turf, and you put them down where you think they should go. Make like a pattern, but make sure the joins of them are staggered, and don't be scared to cut bits off and discard areas. You want to make sure it's a really good job, this one. So yeah, you can pick out some dandelions which are coming through, and then we put them in where we want them to be, and we use bits of soil to level them off. Kind of feel with your hands and see how it goes, because it's going to be some undulation there. And the technique you use after you've done this, it may not be conventional, but we were taught it when I was at college, is to put a plank of wood across. So the piece of the decking there, I could use that, put it on and you walk on it, or you stamp if you need to be. And this way it flattens out the turfs and makes them nice and level. And then when you've done that, little gaps between the turf, use some of your topsoil and you sprinkle it on with a trowel just between there and rub it in with your hand, and it will all knit together and look really, really good. So it's a very easy job, but doing it this way saves a lot of money. You don't have to buy any turf because it's already there, and you don't have to worry about stacking it either because it's all there to be used. And waste not, want not. Well, you can now see I've finished the turf, and I've also edged the bottom area off. This is to widen the path where the slates are, and you can see it doesn't look any different now to the rest of the lawn, so it's really worth doing. And if you do a good job, the grass will soon knit together and you'll be able to walk in it very soon. The next job is to line this path now. Because this garden's not going to stay the same particularly for long, we thought it'd be a good idea to get some of these bricks. These are 95 pence each, so it was quite economical to buy them, and you can always reuse them later. The idea is to edge this piece of the lawn here and put the membrane across and fill it with slates. Now we've got a lot of slates left over from the other areas which I'm going to reuse and recycle. But the first thing to do is put in the bricks. Make sure they're roughly level, of course, and make sure you don't trip on them. But this soil here is quite sandy, so it does hold things very well. And I did have a bag of sand too, just to firm them in a little bit. And this should be okay for this summer at least. And here we are, the bricks are all in place. They're firmed in with some building sand and kind of tamped down with a mallet, the end of a mallet, just to make sure they're not going to be wobbling about. The soil there is quite compacted and I've walked in it quite a few times to make sure it's level and very, very firm. So just next thing to do is put the membrane across. The membrane will stop the weeds coming through, but it will allow the water to pass through as well. And it'll make a really nice easy job of this one. So what I'm going to do is use the old slates we've found elsewhere in the garden and put them onto here, so I'm not wasting anything. So I'm a great advocate for not wasting things, recycle and reuse, because it's all there for the you don't have to buy it again, isn't it? Now this wasn't a very nice job, but I committed myself to recycling, and so I did. And I washed all these slates that were covered in mud in a bowl of freezing cold water. And I'm suffer for my art, but it was well worth it because I've saved quite a lot of money doing it this way. And just wash them there, all the bits and pieces come off them and put them onto the path. And so in hindsight we thought it's not a good idea to paint the whole fence blue because it might be a bit overbearing. So we decided to use black, which is a really good contrast to the blue. Now this will help the fence be pushed back into the landscape and not as obvious as the red. So you'll be incidental and not right in your face like the red is. The next job was to redefine the areas of the garden, so the two rectangle at the back needed separating from the one at the front. And so to do this, we just dug out some of the grass. It's very compacted, so the bricks would sit very easily into this. Just making sure they're nice and level. This spade is brilliant because it's got a really sharp, flat edge. This view is from a little earlier in the day before I started putting the bricks and digging up the turfs. This is just to show you the shape of the lawn, the two rectangles and the pieces of wood I've been using to define them. And here I am again, just edging off the lawn with the spade, carefully, making sure it's nice and level and making sure that everything's marked up properly so I'll not have to redo it again later, and to ensure that the pieces of wood that I'm using as a level don't move. Now these pieces of wood are from the decking project, which is where the new hot tub and entertainment area is, and these were left over, so decided to use these. Again, it's recycling. I cut some battens of tunnelized wood there, drilling the hole first, pilot hole, then put the screw through. This will make sure they don't move, and this is not a permanent feature, just a temporary one to make sure that everything's in place, but it does look quite nice. And you can do this for all sorts of projects like paths, vegetable beds and things like that. So here we are, just make some pilot holes again near this one to make sure the screws go in and don't split the wood, and then it's all nice and finished. And here we have the result of a day's work and 2 half days. Unfortunately it rained for some of the time, so I wasn't able to get the fence finished. But I think you can see the difference it makes having it black, because it really does push the boundaries away. So you're not looking at the fence, you're looking at the rest of the garden. The panel there to the left is going to be beach blue, and in front of this fence here I think is going to be a long pergola erected with panels with lights coming through and maybe some glass and plants climbing up there, so it should look really, really interesting. And of course the borders will be filled with tropical looking plants, so tetrapanax, canna lilies and all kinds of exotic looking plants which can cope with the English climate. And that's the view from the far end. You can see I put some plants in there which should kind of fill it out for now and look really good. And the grass will recover. You can see where I've laid the turfs there. And what this garden really needs is some feed, so we're going to put some feed on it too next time. And I think in a few weeks you'll be absolutely amazed at the difference, and the transformation will be starting to look something. Well, it's been a very nice weekend here at the garden. I've really enjoyed helping out and making it look different. Transformation's a long way to go yet, but I think I've made a real difference with the edging of the lawn here, the defining of the spaces with the bricks here. I've put some plants in here, I've put some plants in there, and the idea is it looks kind of subtropical, but of course we're in England, so it's not going to be tropical. But the fun is in making it look like it is. So we've started painting the fence here black, so it pushes the boundary away. There's not so much in your face then. And the shed here, you may be shocked, is going to be the beach blue again, which we're painting the fence around the seating area just in front of me here. I've extended the path in front of me. I'll show you that in a moment. Put some more slates on. I've been recycling the slates from this patch here. This patch here is going to be more jungly, with a little path coming through, so you can walk through the garden different ways, so it makes it more interesting. So I'm really pleased, and I hope you've enjoyed watching the transformation happen. I'll be coming here quite a lot more to get this one done over the summer and autumn. So yeah, you can enjoy seeing how it transforms, and you say you'll probably get some ideas for yourself if you fancied having a go at changing your own garden. And because it's a smaller space, it's I believe more adaptable to you. So yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon.